Hey y'all, hey, it's me, Janice Anderson, and welcome to Significant Life, the podcast for women who want to live, lead, and serve from an anchored place. I'm your host, Janice Anderson, wife, mother of three, CEO, and lover of all things Jesus. I firmly believe that strong women need an even stronger support system. So whether you need to get it done or come undone, this is a place where you can do it all without second-guessing who you are, disconnecting from those you love, or undervaluing your irreplaceable contribution to the world. Regardless of what you're facing, this I know for sure. You were created to live and enjoy a significant life. Let's dive into today's episode. I'm super duper excited about what we're going to talk about today. Today, I'm going to share with you 3 ways that pushing through is actually slowing you down. How pushing through, like if I can just push through, if I can just get it done, while that's really sucking the life and momentum out of what you have going on in your life. Now, in today's live stream, I want you to go ahead and get a pen, piece of paper, tag someone that's a woman of influence, someone that is a leader in your life or a leader around you who's looking for ways to gain and maintain momentum during seasons of transition. Yes, you can gain and maintain momentum even in the midst of transition. So if you think this is going to be beneficial, tag them below, write their name below, even if you're watching the replay. And let's get this thing started. I would love for us to normalize exponential and abnormal success and progress, even in the midst of seasons of tension, transition, and intense opposition. Did you hear what I said? Let's normalize, abnormal and exponential success. You don't have to just settle for what you had before. You don't even have to settle for what everyone else think is possible. Like with this, you don't have to settle for what is reasonable given your current circumstances. You ever felt like that? Like, this is reasonable considering blank, 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 you fill in the blank. If you're ready to break through what's reasonable and have exponential and abnormal success without striving and progress in the midst of transition, this live, I'm going to help you. So here's what I know. Many times when we're going through seasons of transition and tension, and we're in this season of stretching and becoming, the next version of ourselves, many times we settle for, if I can just make it through. Because that's what everybody else says. You know what? Just, all you got to do is just get through this. And so we are in that place of, if I can just get through this space, if I can just get through this season, if I can just get through this month, if I can just get over this obstacle, this hurdle, then I'll be smooth sailing. If I can just keep my head above water. And I don't know about you, but I have mastered keeping my head above water. Like I'm good. I'm good at making $1 out of 15 cents. I'm ready to graduate to the next level. I'm ready to graduate to the next level of life. That when it's crazy, when things are all over the place, when I'm in transition and I'm being stretched beyond what is normal and comfortable for me, I want to still know how to soar. I want to know still how can I do more than just push through, but how can I, elevate to that next place? That's what we're going to talk about today. So let me just say who I am. I'm Janice Anderson. For those of you who are new to me, new to my community, Christian women leaders and Christian men, founders, executives, business leaders, and ministry leaders often come to me when navigating seasons of transition, when they're bouncing back from setback, and when they need strength and strategy for their current season of life. And through our work together, we get to, I'm so excited, help them to live and enjoy their significant life. Instead of the life that they're settling for or the life that they're striving for, we get to help them uncover, reshape, and map out the life that they were born to live. So if you already know this is what you need, like, man, I've been waiting on something like that, the link wherever this video is will give you a link to my calendar to book an appointment so we can talk about what's next for you. How do we press the reset button or maybe reshape or redefine what you're doing so that you can live your significant life, whether that's in your relationships, in your work, or just in that thing that you're called to do. So let's just dive deep into this. I'm so excited. Okay, so before we jump into why pushing through is slowing you down, I want you to go ahead and make up in your mind right now that in this moment, I am open to hearing, learning, and receiving exactly what I need to push reset, to gain momentum and traction for the current season of life that I'm in. I'm no longer interested in just making it. And I know the people that are called to me, we're not people who settle. We just are really good. Like our average is somebody else's aspiration. So what may seem like settling for us, somebody is dying to have that. Like, well, if I could just have that. But you know if you're not playing full out, if you're not exactly where you want to be, that, if like the way this is going, you're meant for more, but you're really not quite sure how to do it. If you're in that place and you're like, you know what, but let me just put my head down and push through, and you're ready to stop that, go ahead and book your call. Let's get on the call right away. Because I'm going to tell you, the moment that one of the things that really settled in for me, that caused me to shift out of this mindset of let me just push through, let me just power through, let me just get it done, was really being in a sacred and safe space with someone who saw me, someone who's been where I was before, but they saw me and they saw that what I was doing wasn't going to get me where I wanted to go. And what I was doing was going to keep me right where I am or just slightly above where I am. And rather than let me settle for pushing through, they showed me how to do the things I'm going to talk about today. So many of you may not know this, so I'm going to share this little image with you. Hold on. But in my former life, I was a basketball player. Yes, that little skinny girl right there, she played basketball. I played basketball for 14 years. Yeah, for 14 years, I played basketball, played all through middle school, all through high school, and in college. I played a little bit after college as well, so maybe that's a little bit over 14 years. And when I played basketball, I played as a power forward, and most people underestimated me because I was tall. I tried to beat the odds. I make sure that I look cute. These days, all the athletes, they got lashes and extra hair. Their wigs be glued down. They look real good. Back in my day, we looked like we was ballers unless it was me, curling my hair and, putting on lipstick to go play basketball. And so people often underestimated me because of how thin I was. I was tall, but I was thin, and but I was really powerful. And I remember when, because I played basketball and I wanted, just like with every other area of my life, I wanted to do the right thing. I wanted to get it right. I was always trying to make sure I understood the rules and I knew to a T what the play was. Like if I could just get the play, And then in the game, I just wanted to remember the play. And so if I knew the play and I knew the rules, I could win the game. But then there comes a time in your life where you run in the play. Like you run in the play, and guess what? The play is not even necessary. The play doesn't go on with what's going on the court. Today we talk about whether or not people have ball sense. Like if you have ball sense, you got the play in your head, but your basketball sense says, oh, I need to go a different way because the defense have moved. That's why I'm going to get into point number one. Point number one is why pushing through is slowing you down, is because when you push through because you run in the play, you get the ball, you turn, you dribble to the basket because that's the play. You get the ball, you turn, you pass it to the wing because that's the play. You get the ball, you look, and then you throw it because that's the play. Except for when you're not pushing through and you're not so set on running the play, the first thing you do is you pull up. You get the ball, you maintain your dribble, you pull up. Because when life happens, rather than push through, take a minute, hold your head up. When you hold your head up, you can see the floor. When you hold your head up, you can see where all the players are. You can see where the defense is. When you hold your head up, you can see, that lane coming through. You can see, oh, there's a pass right there that we didn't anticipate. When you hold your head up, you can see the person that's caught off guard. So the first thing we do when life happens, we're in the midst of a season of transition, is not to look at all the things that are on our plates, all the things that are coming our way, all the ways that life is happening to us. And let me just power through. Let me just power through. If I can just get it done, I can get it done. You look at your to-do list. I just got to get it done. No. Pull up. Pull up, pull up, pull up. I know this is the list, but let me pull up for a minute. And then pulling up, you just take a minute, pull up, and you pause. Pull up. You're still moving. You still got momentum. You're still intending on moving in the direction of your goal, but you decide to pull up and kind of reflect a little bit, kind of have like a Selah moment, like, okay, now that this is going on, now that I see what's on the court, now that I see what's ahead of me, you know what? I may do something a little different. I'm just going to pull up a minute. Somebody needs to pull up. Somebody needs to pull up in their life instead of than just keeping their head down. I was on the phone with a client today, and he called, he texted and was like, hey, SOS. I know I said I work with women, but I also have some clients that are men. And he said, I got an SOS. You got a minute? And I'm like, yes, I actually do. What's up? And so he's like, what do you do when you're overwhelmed? What do you do when so many things are coming at you? I got this. And he started naming all the things that were coming at him. And they were big things. And I could hear it in his voice. He's a strong man. He's a go-to man in his circle, a go-to man for his wife, his kids, and his clients. And he's like, but right now I feel like I'm drowning. Those were his exact words. And he said, I don't know if you've ever felt like you're drowning. It's like, I know I got this. I know God is with me, but I feel like I'm drowning. And as he was saying that, I heard him. I said, so what you going to do when you drown? You going to kick and scream and do all the things? Because literally you're going to die fast. If you do what you think to do, let me just get it all done. Let me do this. In the middle of drowning, you going to die. You got to get yourself together. Well, if you literally were in the pool drowning, what would you do? Well, first of all, you're not going to stop doggy paddling at a minimum. You're not going to stop that because you're going to drown. But you're not going to be beating fast on the water, wearing yourself out, or you're going to drown. And you ain't going to yell and scream because then water going to get down your throats and you're going to drown. So what you going to do? And as I told him that, because I know he was expecting me to come like, I feel you, I understand. I ain't had that. That wasn't in me today. I was like, hold up, pull up. Where you at right now? I feel like I'm sinking. What can I do? When I feel like I'm drowning, what do I know? If I don't know nothing else, what do I know? In this moment, I want to ask you, what do you know? What do you know concerning that situation that you're facing, that you heads down, you're trying to make it happen. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. Stop for a minute. Pull up. What do you know? What can you see? For those of you who are praying people, and I'm called to people who pray, this is where you pull up and say, Lord, help me to see what I cannot see. Help me to see the possibilities that's before me. That's why you pull up. You pull up and then you pause for a minute. And you give yourself a moment to hear, a moment to reflect, a moment to see, like, what's going on? What are my options? See, when you pull up and you pause long enough to see the possibility, you realize that you have more options than what you thought. So I was talking to my client today, and we just pulled up and we paused and we started looking at what was really in front of him. We realized that this wasn't an option. This wasn't an option. That was no longer an option. That wasn't an option. And then we just went through, but do you have any options? And he was about to say no. And in the cut, in the corner, on the baseline, almost behind the basket over there was an option. But when you head down, go back to my dribbling analogy, and you're going so hard running the play. And I am a rule follower. So I'm a follow the play type of girl. But sometimes you following the play so hard that you're about to sabotage everything because you made no room to adjust the play for what's going on. So I want you to pull up. I want you to pause, see the possibility. And the third thing I want you to do is, what is it? I want you to pivot. Like when you pausing, you can pivot. Y'all know that when you are pausing, like you're not standing still, you still have a pivot. You get to kind of move around and see. You get to weigh your options. You get to see, okay, this is what's possible. This is what's possible. This is what's possible. Now I get to make a decision. I know when I first started this thing, we were going to go this way, but now this has happened. And so since this has happened, that's no longer an option. And that option is out. Okay, no problem. When I first started, this is where I was going to go, and I was going to leverage this person. But then guess what? They turned out to be shady. Not going to give it to them. Oh, I know when I first started, we was like, I'm going to pass it over here. But today you got Butterfingers. And so I'm just not going to pass it to you today because you got Butterfingers. When you pause and you pivot and you turn, you get to see the floor. You get to see, hey, do we have a new play that we're running? What is the adjustment? What's coming over from the bench? What is the coach saying over there? Like in life, when you are navigating transition, I think sometimes what happens to many of us is we think we run out of options because I'm in transition. Transition doesn't mean you run out of options. Transition just means the things that I used to rely on, they're not the things I'm relying on right now. The places I used to go, the strategies I used to use, they're not my go-to right now. That don't mean I don't have no more options. Just last week, in my business, I felt like, I messed up the play. As I'm thinking about it, I'm like, oh, Janice, I messed up the play. The play said, do these 3 things. And after you do these 3 things, then follow up and do these 5 things. Well, I did the first 2 things and half of the 3rd thing. And so I felt like the whole play was over. Anybody ever felt like that in their life? You ever felt like, I messed it up. We just got to start all over. The game is over. I quit. And so you just like, you sitting there soaking because you're in transition, and the play that you had, the way that you work on the go, what you're accustomed to doing is not going to work because you messed up the play. Or maybe, or you forgot to write out the play. And so you literally are sitting there stalled as if you can't adjust the play. I just want you to pull up. Like sometimes our heads is down. Sometimes your head's not down because you're dribbling and you're so busy moving and making things happen. Sometimes your head is down because you're soaking. Sometimes your head is down because you feel like I'm defeated. Sometimes your head is down because you think that all hope is gone. To those of you who are listening to me that are believers, by nature of the fact that you are a believer and that your Father is the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, and you still have breath in your body, it's not over. It's not over for you. The fact that you're still here means you still have options. Can somebody, where's my organ? The fact that you're still here means you still have options. This is where you pull up and you look up. God, what's my option? Daddy, what are my options? What options are available to me now? Because the way that I see it, I don't see any. But I know you can see all things, and you can see what I can't see. And so now I just pause for a minute, and I look to you, and I ask that you reveal what my options are. Now, for many of you, if you're like me, it's hard sometimes when you're in it to see the options. It's hard sometimes to really know what to do next because you're so enthralled in it. And I don't think that was a word. I think I made up that word, but you're so engulfed in what you're doing that you can't see the options because you're just trying to navigate through where you are. You're navigating through the maze. But this is where, for me, what happened is I had my time with the Lord, and I was talking to him about this, and I was wrestling with, man, I think I messed up, and I couldn't really figure out, did I really miss it, or was I afraid, or did you change the plan? I was just all in my head, and I was telling my coach and those in my mastermind community that I was like, hey, I was talking to the Lord about this, and I just started typing like all the things that I was thinking out, and I was in the bed and typing it out on my phone. And I'm like, I listed 14 things that could possibly be what is going on or what I'm thinking about this matter. And then after 30 minutes of typing, I was like, let me get up if I wake up my husband with me and this darn phone. And I got up and I prayed and I walked my kitchen floor and I just kind of settled in. I was just like, Father, I'm giving this to you. Your word says, cast all my cares on you because you care for me. And so I'm concerned about this. And I don't know if I made the right move. I don't know if I missed my opportunity or missed my chance, but these are my thoughts about this. Help me to make sense of this. Help me to think about this. You said in Proverbs that if we commit our works to you, you will establish our thoughts. And so, Lord, this is the work that I have before me. This is what I plan on doing and what I want to do and what I feel you called and created me to create in this world, in this time, in this season. Help me to see it from your perspective. So I'm saying that to the Lord, and, we're having a conversation, and it's going pretty good. And then I realize, because I understand that, even in my conversation with the Lord, if I'm not careful, and I'm saying this because I want you to understand this, if I'm not careful, I can make something be God that's really me. Y'all didn't want me to say that. You could be thinking it's God, but it's you. It's you because this is what you really want to happen. This is the answer you really want. And so even though I felt like I had an answer, I was just like, Lord, I think this is what you're saying. And I'm usually really good about hearing you, but I'm just going to check in with the trusted people in my life who I know also hear you. And so for me, one of those people is my coach. And I called my coach. And that's why you got to be careful who you're in alignment with and what communities that you're attached to. Do you have people that know God, hear God, talk to him, and can hear him for you? And that are not jaded and don't have something to glean, win, or benefit off of how your life goes, that they may be skewing or perverting, twisting, manipulating what is being said or what isn't being said. I have people like that in my life. And so I just was like, hey, I'm going to share with you where I am. And I just want you to help me to see what I cannot see. So there may be this is what I see. Is there anything that you see that I don't see? And it was such a beautiful exchange. And it was such a beautiful moment. It was challenging. Let me just not lie. It was challenging. It was hard. She told me something I did not want to hear. But she was able to see what I could not see. And in her seeing what I could not see, I was able to make a different decision. So I want to invite you to really reconsider how you're showing up in your life, especially if you're in a season of transition. If you know things are not what they used to be, and you're in between where you once were and where you know that you're destined to be, your next place, your next level, then I want you to consider, instead of pushing through, pull up. And as you pull up, I want you to pause and see the possibility. And as you see the possibility, pivot before you make that next decision. And realize this, you're not going to be able to do that alone, not well. These types of decisions, this type of navigating is going to require some support. And you needing support doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're wise. Scripture says, in the multitude of counsel, there is safety. So if you know that's what you need, you're in search of not just the space and place to pull up, pause, and to pivot, but you also need the safety of a coach and a community to help guide you along this journey as you're moving into what is next for you. Maybe it's a place of recovery because you're refreshing and you're recovering, or maybe it's a place of stretching. You're coming into something you've never seen before. If you know that you are looking for support and you need a trusted community and a seasoned coach who hears God, who's also well-trained and well-experienced, I'd love to have a conversation with you and to see if we're a good fit. If that's you, head over to liveleadserve.com. That's liveleadserve.com. Fill out the application and let's have a conversation today. But in the meantime, rather than push through, pull up. This has been Janice, and I pray that this conversation was helpful.